Order! Order! I need a bell. Order in the court. Or the beating. I don't know why we didn't do this before. This is low-hanging fruit. And it's the best part of Campus to Canton is trading college players for NFL players. You can trade Bijan Robinson and get Travion Henderson and Nick Singleton or whatever. You know? It's the best part of Campus to Canton. I don't know why we didn't do this before. We should do this regularly. Just review Campus to Canton trades. Now, the interesting thing tonight, drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. The interesting thing is going to be whether or not I can get these damn things on the screen. That's going to be the interesting thing. Can I share my screen and get the trades up here? Comment down below or in the comments. Appreciate y'all joining. What's up, Colin? I got one of your trades. We're going to go over tonight. This is an interesting exercise. It really is. This is an interesting exercise. Sunday night here, Campus to Canton Trade Review Show. We should have been doing this all along. It's one of the best things. And you look at the Dynasty community, the SEO traffic that trades get, Dynasty Trades HQ, Dynasty Trades in 5, you put trades in a title, does well. Low-hanging fruit. We should have been doing this a long time ago. This should be fun. I should probably, Zach, thank you for tuning in. First time catching it live. We appreciate it, man. Subscribe to the channel. Appreciate it. I've got 5 trades here that subscribers to the website have that they've given me. But if you've got trades, you can put them in the chat. We'll go along. I feel like if I keep doing this, maybe we'll be able to do it organically. And I won't have to ask for, subscribers in the Discord. We can just do it right here on the screen. And I can put the trades on the screen coming straight from the chat. All right. I don't think I can start the show. I don't think I can go forward with that without actually starting the show. So let's start it. It's good stinger. You got to do the branding. You got to do the branding. Okay, here's the trick here. So we're going to review, for anybody who's just tuning in for the first time, maybe you don't know what Campus to Canton is, but it is a fantasy football league where you have both a college team and an NFL team. And your college team serves as a pipeline to your NFL team. Now, the difference between Campus to Canton and Debbie, if you've heard of Debbie, is your college players actually score points. We play on fan tracks. So I'm starting Jackson Arnold at Oklahoma. I'm starting Taylon Green at Arkansas. I'm starting Jeremiah Hunter at Washington. I'm starting those guys on the college side of my league, and there's a championship. Just like in regular NFL fantasy, you can win both sides. You win both sides, you're the king of C's. The king of C's. So tonight, I've got a couple of trades where assets are going back and forth, and I'm going to give my thoughts on them. The trick is going to be is can I share my screen properly? You never know. You never know with me with stuff like this because I am not the tech guy. I'm not the tech guy. Let's see if I can do it. Oh! I think I did it right. All right, here we go. First trade on the screen here from Frankie Cupcakes 24. He's got 2. We'll go with this first one. He is getting Tua Tagovailoa and Zach Charbonnet, giving away NFL assets, Bo Nix, college asset, Carson Beck, Caleb Jackson from LSU, and the supplemental 10th. I don't know if that's the 10th pick or a 10th round pick. We can talk about both. All right. Let's people in the NFL community know who Tua Tagovailoa is and Zach Charbonnet is. Those are established assets. Bo Nix from Oregon, transfer from Auburn to Oregon, there for the Broncos. His value is we don't know what his value is, but he is an established NFL asset given he's gotten his draft capital. Carson Beck, I think, is going to be the first quarterback taken in the 2025 NFL draft. Caleb Jackson, 220-pound bruiser for LSU, a good, not great running back, probably late day 2, early day 3 for Caleb Jackson there. It'll be interesting to see him here in 2025, given what we expect that LSU offense to be. Okay? So, again, he's getting 2 NFL assets and giving away 3 college assets in Bo Nix. Frankie Cupcakes, you won that trade. I love Carson Beck. I was on the Carson Beck train last year, but anytime we can give away uncertainty for certainty, I'm going to go for that. Like, I'm in some leagues right now where I'm thinking about trading Carson Beck for like an established NFL quarterback, for a guy like Aaron Rodgers. You did one better in that you got a young quarterback in an explosive offense in Miami and Tua Tagovailoa. Now, Zach Charbonnet, it's really all those 4 players for Tua Tagovailoa. That's a win. That's a win. You're taking the hype around Carson Beck, around Caleb Jackson, and to a certain extent, Bo Nix, and you're trading it for certainty. That's an easy win, a win for you, Frankie Cupcakes, 24. I like that trade for you. Even on just think about what you spent to get Carson Beck. You probably drafted him last year in the freshman and supplemental drafts, because anybody who's not paying attention, Carson Beck was in the same draft class as 5-star quarterback Brock Vandagriff. Last offseason, PFF, because they weren't paying attention, they had Carson Beck had longer odds for the Heisman than Brock Vandagriff. Their first year on campus, Carson Beck was the backup. He was the next player on the field after Stetson Bennett. So he's been the backup ever since he was there as a freshman. But Brock Vandagriff had, the recruiting pedigree and the nice shiny 5 stars next to his name. So people who weren't paying attention, including PFF, thought that he was the backup. He wasn't. So, but he probably was on waivers last year. You just traded Bo Nix, okay, Caleb Jackson, supplemental 10th. If that's the 10th, if that is a 10th round pick, you're trading Bo Nix, who we don't know about, Carson Beck, who you got off waivers, Caleb Jackson in the 10th for a top 10 NFL quarterback. You won that one. That's an easy one. All right, let's go to this next one. You say Tate and a supplemental first for Kirk Cousins and Calvin Ridley. I was almost like, what Tate is this? Is this Golden Tate? But it's Carnell Tate. It's Carnell Tate, the wide receiver there at Ohio State, who we really like. Not super athletic, but he has a lot of intangibles that we like. The coaches couldn't say enough good things about him last year. Lost his black stripe really early. But what is he going to be in 2024? Ohio State's offense is going to be run-centric. It just is. You got Will Howard there. You got Quinshon Judkins and Travion Henderson. They're going to run the ball more than and then Chip Kelly, excuse me. That's the reason why they're going to run more than they pass. They get Chip Kelly. Again, here, you are trading uncertain college assets for a certain NFL asset with Kirk Cousins and Calvin Ridley. Yeah, I don't know how to characterize that as anything other than a win for you. I mean, yeah, Kirk Cousins is coming from injury, but Calvin Ridley still has 2 or 3 years left. We like I was going to say Golden Tate. Carnell Tate. We like Carnell Tate. He's probably in my top 15, but I would take Calvin Ridley over him in a heartbeat. I would take Calvin Ridley over him in a heartbeat. I don't know what leagues these types of trades are being made in because I'm having trouble getting some of my own trades like this done that I'm trying to get done. So Frankie Cupcakes, he gave me 2 trades. I'm giving you the win on both of them. Let me know what you think in the comments. Frankie Cupcakes, did he win both of those trades? I think he did. Let's go now here to our second trade. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, all of that stuff. Let's see if I'm doing this right. Oh, I'm doing it right again. Look at me. I'm Bill Gates over here. I'm Elon Musk pressing all the right buttons. Tech genius. Sharing my screen. All right, here we go. Colin, this is yours. So Colin, thank you for tuning in. Colin, one of our subscribers. Now I know this looks weird on the screen, but this is essentially what it is. He's giving a 15th round supplemental pick. He's given Jalen Raynor. Jalen Raynor is a true sophomore at Arkansas State who's a good college fantasy football producer. Not an NFL guy at all, okay? But a guy who can help you win on the college side. That's what Jalen Raynor is. And Darius Taylor, for those who don't know, Darius Taylor projects to be the starting running back at Minnesota. PJ Fleck always has a bell cow running the football at Minnesota. So essentially what this is 3 players who are not going to be NFL guys, but they will help you on the college side for Isaiah Pacheco, the running back at Kansas City, and the 306. You got it, everybody? So Jeff is receiving the 306 and Isaiah Pacheco. President Camacho is receiving the 15-5, Jalen Raynor and Darius Taylor. That's all right. So how do I I wish I knew which side you had on this, Colin, but I don't know who President Camacho is. So Darius Taylor, Jalen Raynor, and 15th round. Jalen Raynor is replaceable. You got Jacob Zeno out there. You've got Josh Hoover at TCU. I just did a freshman draft review for PJ, a CFF guy. I mean, I like Jalen Raynor, but he is. I mean, even who's my man at Virginia Tech, who's going to be a top 5 quarterback in CFF. He could be an NFL player. Why is his name escaping me? The transfer from Baylor to Virginia Tech. He is out on waivers in some place. What I'm saying is Jalen Raynor is replaceable. The 15-5 is replaceable. To a certain extent, I think even Darius Taylor is replaceable. So we're giving up those. Yeah, Kyron Drones. Thank you. Kyron Drones. I just watched like all of his games last year and can't remember his name. So I think that I could replace Darius Taylor, Jalen Raynor in the 15-5. I could probably replace that production on my and waivers in my supplemental draft. I don't know that I can replace Isaiah Pacheco on the NFL side. And they got the 306. Am I reading that trade right? I got the 306 and Isaiah Pacheco. I'm giving it to Jeff. Jeff wins that one. Jeff is the winner on that trade. I don't know how to. I mean, I wish I had like Chris or Austin or somebody else with me, because I think that they would agree here. Like, I can replace all those CFF guys. I can replace their production on waivers. I probably, and I'm getting, yeah. So the Isaiah Pacheco side, they win. Now that doesn't mean that every time you trade college assets away, or anytime you trade an NFL asset away just for college assets, that you're losing that trade. I don't think that means that. But in this one, trading away Isaiah Pacheco, trading away the 306, and getting Darius Taylor, Jalen Raynor, and the 15-5. The 15-5 is not going to be an NFL player. Jalen Raynor is not going to be an NFL player. Darius Taylor, is he better than Muhammad Ibrahim, who we just saw, go to the Detroit Lions as an undrafted free agent? If I'm giving away an NFL asset, I would kind of want an NFL asset in return. So Jeff wins that one. All right, let's go to our next trade here. Let's go to our next trade. Oops. So I told you this would be the adventure right here. There we go. Mega Prawn. Mega Prawn is giving up Evan Stewart, Tyler Brown, and the freshman 103 for Isaiah Bond, Justice Haynes, and the freshman 106. So no NFL assets in this one. Straight college players. Let's talk about these 6 assets for those who are uninitiated. Evan Stewart, a 5-star player in the 2021 class, 2022 class. He'll be a true junior this year. He's transferred from Texas A&M to Oregon. He's dealt with injuries, but in the games that he's played, he's been relatively productive. I wouldn't call him a sure thing, but he's very productive. Tyler Brown was a 3-star, but was super productive for Clemson last year. Slot wide receiver when Antonio Williams went down. I want to see what Tyler Brown's stats were last year, but I don't want to misstate them. Yeah, Tyler Brown as a true freshman, 52 receptions, 531 yards, 4 touchdowns. He also had 2 carries for 41 yards. In college football, over 500 yards as a true freshman, very, very good. In the freshman 103. That freshman 103 is going to be either DJ Lagway, the quarterback at Florida, or Dylan Raiola, the true freshman at Nebraska, the true freshman quarterback and son of Dominic Raiola at Nebraska. Dominic Raiola, longtime Lions center. I'm getting old. Longtime Lions center. Dominic Raiola, his son, now there for Nebraska. And on the other side, Isaiah Bond, Justice Haynes, and the freshman 106. The 106 could be TJ Moore. The 106 could be Micah Hudson. Micah Hudson, the 5-star wide receiver going there to Texas Tech. TJ Moore. I've comped TJ Moore to Detroit Lions Kenny Golladay. A big wide receiver who can get deep, but he has really sticky hands. That's what TJ Moore reminds me of. This one is pretty straightforward to me because I don't think that the trade down from Evan Stewart to Isaiah Bond is that big. Isaiah Bond's going to be a candidate to be the fastest wide receiver at the combine next year. And when you're the fastest wide receiver, we've seen it with John Ross, Ted Ginn, Xavier Worthy. When you go to even the dude that the Patriots took, I forgot his name. He got draft capital that she shouldn't have. When you go to the combine and you just run fast, you're going to get draft capital. And there's a chance that Isaiah Bond is more productive than Evan Stewart this year because Evan Stewart is transferring to Oregon. And they've got a very good wide receiver in Tez Johnson who had over 1,000 yards last season. So there's a chance that you think you're trading down from Evan Stewart to Isaiah Bond. There's a chance that Isaiah Bond scores more fantasy points on the college side. There's a chance that Isaiah Bond commands higher draft capital than Evan Stewart this season or at this NFL draft. Tyquan Thornton, thank you. Dynasty Psych, appreciate it. Dynasty Psych, haven't seen you around. Appreciate you being here. So I'm giving that one to this is me. Ended up with TJ Moore at the 106. He said, there we go. Zach says he ended up with TJ Moore at the 106. Okay, so that provides some. Oh, man. That's a slam dunk. Isaiah Bond, Justice Haynes, and TJ Moore for Evan Stewart, Tyler Brown. Okay. I want Justice Haynes more than I want Tyler Brown. I want Isaiah Bond more than Tyler Brown. There's an argument that I want Isaiah Bond more than the 103. Depends on how desperate you are for quarterback, because that's going to be Dylan Raiola or DJ Lagway. Zach, you're flexing on. So Zach, you got Isaiah Bond, Justice Haynes, and TJ Moore. I think that's a slam dunk too. Zach, you won that trade. You received, you won that trade. You won that trade, getting Isaiah Bond, Justice Haynes, and TJ Moore. To a certain extent, both Evan Stewart and Isaiah Bond their value is speculative, right? Evan Stewart, yes, he has the recruiting pedigree. He has some production when he's been healthy, but we thought that Kayshon Boutte was going to go be a first-round draft pick. Chuba Hubbard, how many first rounds can we think of? First rounds in startup drafts. Who's the wide receiver for the Tennessee Titans who was coming out of Arkansas? Treylon Burks. You thought you had something certain in Treylon Burks. It's a hard game. It's a hard game. C2C is a hard game. Sometimes we think we have these players evaluated, and we just don't have it right. So I think that you added some equity to your team. Tyler Brown had a good season last year. That doesn't mean he's a breakout player and going to be a first-round draft pick. Same for somebody like Kevin Concepcion at NC State. Just because they had an outstanding freshman season does not mean that their value is solidified. Okay? Let's go here. Where do you rank Williams in these freshman drafts, ahead of below? What Williams? You got to tell me what Williams. You got to tell me what Williams, and I'll get to that question here in a second. All right, let's go to the fourth trade that I have. Fourth trade. Let me close some of these windows here so I don't confuse myself, because I'm liable to do that. Ryan Williams. Where do I rank so Ryan Williams, out of the state of Alabama, super productive. He will turn 18 next February. I think February 6th is his birthday. I know it's in February. I can't remember which date. 17 years old. He will play the entirety of the 2024 college football season at 17 years old, just like your boy Braylon Allen there at Wisconsin. What do I think of Ryan Williams in these freshman drafts? You can go look at my rankings at the website. I have TJ Moore ranked ahead of Ryan Williams. I also feel a little bit skittish about reclassifications. Look at the history of players who've reclassified. Actually, give me one player. Give me one example of a player who's reclassified at the skill position in the last 10 years or so that's gone on to be uber successful. Off the top of my head, I can think of Quinn Ewers, the quarterback from Georgia, from USC, who then transferred to Georgia, then transferred to Rice, and then just had to medically retire. JD, why am I forgetting all these names? USC QB transfer to Georgia. JT Daniels, that's who I'm thinking of. JT Daniels, Tony Grimes. Remember Tony Grimes, who in the pandemic, the cornerback, the five-star cornerback, who is the 2021 class, but because of the pandemic, he made the jump early to go to UNC. Where's Tony Grimes now? He ain't at USC. He ain't at UNC anymore. Tony Grimes, UNC. He's at UNLV. Tony Grimes is at UNLV. Five-star at UNLV now. So I am a little bit afraid of some of these reclassification guys. And he's not only a reclassification, but he's also young. I know he's been super productive in the state of Alabama. But he's young and he's reclassifying. And he wasn't there in the spring. He doesn't get there until the summer. So I have TJ Moore ranked ahead of Ryan Williams. All that to say that. I have TJ Moore ranked ahead of Ryan Williams. I could have just said I have TJ Moore ranked ahead of Ryan Williams. Appreciate you tuning in. I'm doing some trades. It's Felix Sharp at Sharp Review on Twitter for campus2canton.com. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. The best thing about Campus to Canton is you get to trade college players for NFL players or vice versa. And so what's the value there? That's what's really cool about Campus to Canton trading. Appreciate you all joining with us. All right, let's go here to number 4. My fourth trade. Oh. I said in the live stream that I did on Saturday, Friday, you got to be comfortable with sucking. And so that's what I'm doing. This looks like the same. This is the same pick I just talked about earlier. Frankie Cupcake sent this to me. I'm taking the Tua Tagovailoa side. Sorry, Cooking with Russ. You guys can let me know what you think in the chat. Would you rather have Zach Charbonnet and Tua Tagovailoa or Bo Nix, Caleb Jackson, Carson Beck in a 10th round pick? Cooking with Russ, I think that if I put this trade on Twitter, it would come back like 80% Tua Tagovailoa, Zach Charbonnet. Now, I am going to put this on Twitter after this show to see what people think, because I think that they will. I think that the public would largely come back. Colin says both sides were middling. All right, so that's so we'll take that one off the screen here. Can I do this? Can I just click here? Nope, I gotta. All right. Give me a second. I guess this will be my last one then, because I've only got one more. Two different people sent me the same trade. So let's stop screen. Okay, and then present, share screen, our last trade. From the Dollarist in our Discord. Jordan Love and Arch Manning for Bijan Robinson. I love this trade for both sides, actually. I really do. Because I am in some leagues where I have Bijan Robinson, in Campus to Canton leagues where I have Bijan Robinson, but my team is not otherwise competitive. So what do you do when you have this running back who, the hourglass on them is winding down, as good as we think Bijan Robinson is, but you're not ready to compete? I mean, I know what I want to do. What I want to do is I want to go get a player who gives me a longer window to win. Go get a quarterback. And here, you got both Jordan Love and Arch Manning. I've not seen anything from Arch Manning that leads me to believe he's not going to be very good at Texas. You got to remember, Texas, Steve Sarkisian, Mac Jones, Bryce Young to a certain extent. Did he? I've lost track now if he was there for the offensive coordinator for both Mac Jones and Bryce Young. Regardless, I mean, Steve Sarkisian has a great history with quarterbacks. He's one of, he's on the top 5. He's on the Mount Rushmore. If you have a quarterback recruit, where you want them to go, who you want them to play for. So not only that, but Arch Manning's value is probably not going to change this year because he is going to be backing up Quinn Ewers. So you got a top 10 NFL quarterback. You have a top 10 Campus to Canton college side quarterback, and you trade away Bijan Robinson. The player who's getting Bijan Robinson, I imagine that their NFL team is probably stacked. Like, their NFL team is probably ready to go. And they're adding the number, 2? I mean, the number 2 running back. Bijan Robinson could finish number 1 overall if you think of what Atlanta has added to that offense. Kirk Cousins should open stuff up for him. So that is a rare one where I think it's a win on both sides, because if you're rebuilding, I want the Jordan Love and Arch Manning side. If I'm ready to win right now, I want the Bijan Robinson side. You can let me know what you think in the comments, but I'm taking it, and I'm in this position in some places where I am rebuilding, and I can't. I'm actually thinking of one league right now where I have Bijan Robinson, and it's a super flex league, 14 teams, and my number 1 quarterback is Bustin Fields. And I can't move Bijan Robinson. I've got Bijan Robinson, Garrett Wilson, Marvin Harrison. Like, my team is otherwise stacked, but I would trade Bijan Robinson for a quarterback if I could. And I can't. So in this, that's really damn even. That's really damn even. Jordan Love and Arch Manning for Bijan Robinson. I think that that's perfectly balanced on both sides, considering what I think both teams are trying to do there. All right, here's the other one. Devonta Smith, David Njoku, Caden Fegan, and the freshman 103 for Marvin Harrison Jr. All right, for those who don't know, Caden Fegan, 240-pound back out of the state of Illinois, going to Illinois, playing for Brett Bielema. There I was going to say for Wisconsin. Brett Bielema, formerly of Wisconsin. Now, Illinois is pretty much Wisconsin South. They run the same offense. The same offense that Melvin Gordon ran. The same offense that Jonathan Taylor ran. The same offense that Monte Ball ran back then. That's what Caden Fegan is running with Brett Bielema. Brett Bielema has a thing for the big running backs. Caden Fegan also, I think he was the player of the year for the state of Illinois in 2022, 2023, 2022, whatever his freshman. He's a true freshman last year. He is a former quarterback who's converting to running back. And I had a little bit of a problem with his lack of physicality, given how big he was. You're talking about, again, super athlete, 240 pounds. I want to see a little more. I want to see you lower your shoulder through players. But just a little bit soft. Just a little bit soft, at least in my opinion. That Illinois backfield, Reggie Love, very good player. He transfers to Purdue. They still have Josh McCray, who was a good, also a big back, was a great freshman in his own right 3 years ago now. He's dealt with injury. So that's who Caden Fegan is, if anybody's just doesn't know who these players are. And then Devonta Smith, that makes sense, for the freshman 103. So the freshman 103, this is generally how we've seen freshman drafts go. Jeremiah Smith, who's a Julio Jones is his comp at Ohio State, the wide receiver. And then it's either been a toss-up between Dylan Raiola, quarterback at Nebraska, who reminds me of late career Ben Roethlisberger, or DJ Lagway. DJ Lagway, very athletic player at Florida. Had some of these he had one jump throw that reminded me a little bit of like Jamarcus Russell, a Jamarcus Russell play. But just great raw tools and athleticism there for Billy Napier. Too bad we don't know who's going to coach DJ Lagway next year. We just don't. We just have no idea who's going to coach. Let me know in the comments. Who's going to coach DJ Lagway at Florida next year. Because it ain't going to be Billy Napier. So to provide some context for the trade, that's who we're trading. That doesn't look as good. Let's can we do this? There we go. So Devonta Smith, David Njoku, Caden Fegan, the freshman 103. So one of those two quarterbacks, Dylan Raiola or Marvin Harrison Jr., or Dylan Raiola or DJ Lagway for Marvin Harrison Jr. You know, I think that there's a chance that the two NFL assets, David Njoku and Devonta Smith, that they weigh equally. They weigh equally with Marvin Harrison Jr. I know we like Marvin Harrison Jr., but we don't know if he's going to be a wide receiver one right out the gate, right? I mean, could you, gun to your head, would you just guarantee that Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be a wide receiver one? Justin Jefferson, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jamar Chase, Marvin Harrison Jr., I don't know that I would guarantee that. So you're trading down from Marvin Harrison Jr. to Devonta Smith. You get David Njoku, Caden Fegan, and 103. That 103 is weighing really heavily here. I like Caden Fegan, but I don't know. I just don't know what. I mean, we haven't seen him as a full season as a starter yet. We haven't seen him in a full season as a starter at his new position again at running back. I am leaning towards the Devonta Smith, David Njoku side, but this one's hard. John says value-wise, he's got Marvin Harrison Jr. over Devonta Smith and David Njoku. What if it's tight end premium? You know, we just don't know what Marvin Harrison Jr.'s value is until he plays. At least that's. I mean, I don't consider myself a dynasty expert or anything. I don't want to hedge here. I got to call something. I'm really leaning towards the Njoku, Smith, Fegan, and freshman 103 side because that freshman 103, I'm getting either DJ Lagway or Dylan Raiola. Man, that's a lot. And in the case of Lagway, like his value is going to be sky high next year. He's going to, let's say hypothetically that it's Lagway. Lagway has rushing ability and throwing ability. You know, one of these guys who can throw the ball a mile, he can do it off platform, he can run, very similar to Lenora Sellers at South Carolina. His value is only going to go up between this year and next year because he's going to sit behind Graham Mertz. That's a lot of value that I'm getting from Marvin Harrison Jr., especially if I'm rebuilding, especially if I'm in like a league that's a little bit deeper, like a 14-team league, a 14-team Superflex league. I think that I'm going with the Devonta Smith, David Njoku side. That one is the hardest one, though. That one has been the hardest one that you guys have brought to my attention here. So I'm leaning that way. But I'm gonna put the Tua Tagovailoa trade and this one on Twitter to see what people think. Because I think I'm leaning towards the Devonta Smith and David Njoku, but that one's really hard. The Tua Tagovailoa, Zach Charbonnet one's not hard for me. All right, give me Tua over Carson Beck and Bo Nix and whoever else was in that trade. All right, I'll have to do this again. We will have to do this regularly. If you liked the video, if you like hearing like this type of content, go ahead and drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and I think that's it. All right, good night. Good luck.